All right, we will begin. Hopefully, everyone has a good day, had a great weekend, had a great day. Overall, it was a pretty productive weekend for me. Got my LLC created, got the IN from the IRS, got a meeting with the bank tomorrow morning. Hopefully, it goes good. Probably not, but we'll see. So, as of right now, Bitcoin is absolutely tanking down almost 5% right now. And of course, altcoins are just absolutely getting tanked even more. They're just straight dying off. So almost down 6%, ETH down 5%, and so on. Now, this kind of happened right as futures opened. ES is now down 0.7% off of these tariff news. But we'll see how we open up on Monday if this actually will affect anything or if SPY can hold this push lower. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to see QQQ as a future or as today, at least until market open. I know ES is SPY. I don't necessarily know if there is one for QQQ. Um, but anyways, so first off, I do have a amazing setup that I'm watching. Could play out, could not, because the market's tanking right now. But if the market does end up rebounding, then I'll show you that setup. It's definitely one of my top setups now. So I hopped on a call with Bull earlier today, and we found that one, and I think that one was probably one of the best setups I've seen recently, and it goes with the AI narrative. But first off, crypto. Okay, we are still inside this buy zone. We have been chopping for weeks. Nothing has really changed at all for Bitcoin or any crypto in general. It's just a waiting game. I mean, we're in the correction. It's gonna take some time. There's nothing really to update about this. I'm just giving it some time, and I think if the market does pull back, I'm going to assume Bitcoin's also going to be pulling back with the market. Could be choppy, maybe not, absolutely dying off, but I do believe it will pull back if the market pulls back too. I don't think Bitcoin's going to act as a hedge. Like I don't think Bitcoin's going to be going up if the market's going down. I mean, it could, but this is the first time it's actually diverging this much from the overall market, which is very interesting, right? It's almost like Bitcoin is dumping with the Mag 7, but SPY is being held up by AI stocks, mainly QQQ, but SPY also, I guess. So it's a very interesting scenario that we are in. But I don't see Bitcoin going up when the market goes down. So I think it's going to either chop or go down very slowly or chop downwards if the market does crash. Now, if we go to the daily, we do have this bearish fair value gap that we are rejecting still. So we have not broken above it. Now, we did break above it on SPY barely, but that is not taking into consideration of the overnight trading that's been happening. So really, we did not really break above it on ES. So we did on SPY doesn't necessarily mean anything since it barely broke above, and then ES is also open 24/7 except for 1 hour in the day. So, and I think Saturday. But Zone is rejecting right now. Let me just make this purple so it's a little bit easier to understand. Now, if SPY does actually want to pull back here, then we would be targeting minimum target at 6,500 or 650. Same levels for SPY, 650, or pull back down to 603. That is the ideally pullback levels that I'm watching. But pullback is not. It's still early, kind of. I mean, just because we're dumping right now does not mean anything. And when I say dumping, we're down 0.6%. We're not down a full percent. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm mainly watching QQQ in NVIDIA. Okay. And now, so that's basically the ETFs and SPY and overall market. Let's jump over to NVIDIA, which is the most important one this week. We do have earnings, I believe, Wednesday post market. Yeah, Wednesday post market, we have earnings this week, and they have to be good. I think they're going to be good, and if they are, then we can push up to 230 to test this top of this trend line. If for some reason they say something bad or negative earnings and we close below this trend line, then all hell will break loose. Okay, market will absolutely be tanking. Same with Nvidia, we'll be pulling back very steeply. Now, I don't want that to happen, and I don't think it's going to happen just because we do have this false breakout here. But we'll see what the data says on Wednesday. Now, when me and Bull were talking about a thesis for a market pullback, market correction, or this AI bubble and whatever else, then I think what we have came down to was basically just demand, right? Because Elon Musk has basically solved most of the issues when it comes to data centers with launching them in space, right? So unlimited cooling, unlimited electricity, and so on. So that's basically going to solve all of your problems. I think the only issue is when, or at least what me and Bull have been saying, is when AI hits a wall. Okay, so either they don't progress anymore, or the demand slows down. So if Nvidia comes out on earnings, because of course they're not going to say it before earnings, so that's suicide. They're going to wait for a earnings report, and then they're going to come out and say something like, um, we're hitting a wall. You know, we can't progress further. Or not slow. We're slowing down progress, which means they're selling less GPUs now, which then would then turn bearish for Nvidia and the overall market. So I guess it really depends on, will AI hit the wall and when will it hit the wall? Because I guess no one really knows. As of right now, there's no clear signs of that. It's just whenever Nvidia is gonna, I guess, release that information. But as of right now, I mean, we got the new cloud AI that's coming out, or it's already out that people are looking at, which I heard is absolutely fantastic and amazing. So as of right now, there's just been a whole bunch of new updates and new improvements to AI that is pretty good. So as of right now, I don't see any brick walls that's going to show demand is slowing down at all. But yeah, so if earnings are good, a push to 230. If not, break below, then all hell breaks loose. But I believe we can see 230. This would support the one push higher for QQQ. Not necessarily a massive leg higher, but just a short-term pop to maybe like 680, probably around there, before we start fading it. Now, if we look at all the other Mag 7, like Tesla, inverse, or sorry, Head and Shoulders, lower high, possibly in the play, wave 5 rejection, yada yada, bearish short side divergence. If you look at their fundamentals, it's like really, really, really bad, really bad. I was looking at this with Bull also. If you look at their price to earnings ratio, I mean, it's 382. I never even noticed that, but that is literally the highest I've ever seen. Highest I've ever seen. That's actually insane. But yeah, no, extremely overvalued. But it's been overvalued for a very long time, right? So this, when it comes to like the longer term trend, is will Tesla, see 750 or even higher, to support all these other elite wave people saying that this is wave 1, this is going to be wave 2, and then we're about to just absolutely rip, which is possible, but not going to happen. Okay, one, it doesn't support fundamentals at all, which I guess doesn't necessarily need to, right? But fundamentals are saying we're going to be pushing down to 280, right? If we align that longer term trend, I already closed off of it, but it was sloping down. Like, it used to be even more overvalued, I believe, and it was sloping downwards. I could be wrong, but I believe it was. Now I gotta look at it again. Hold on, because I want to say it was sloping down. Like what? Yeah, it's starting to roll over. I thought it happened a lot sooner, but we are starting to roll over just now. This from currently than it was in Q4. But as of right now, we are kind of rolling over. But we'll see how that plays out. I guess it's another company I was thinking of, but oh well. So I think we push down to 270, possibly even lower. We'll see how it plays out. Amazon, absolutely nasty. Again, if the market goes for more like higher, which I think it does, even with right now's crash, we could get a wave B or a retest. Like the Mag 7 does show for one more like higher, like Tesla wave B or that right shoulder. Amazon a retest this bear flag. Nvidia a push up to 230. Microsoft a push up for wave B. Apple, I think, is the only one that doesn't support this, but we'll just ignore that for now. Google, a push up for a retest to this bearish leading diagonal, which is a very, very bad sign. Meta, another push higher for this wave E for this bear flag. So overall, the market is definitely not showing any good signs here. But that's basically Mag 7. I'm not going to cover any individual stocks unless y'all want me to, but let me go over the one stock that I am watching that actually looks really good, and that is CRWV. Okay, Core Wave Looks like it could be going for wave 3. I know it's a newer IPO, but we do have a very, very clear pattern here, okay? So we already have an A, B, C, D, E. This is mainly on the daily time frame. You can kind of see how we have this push lower here for the wave A, and then B, C, D, E. And now we do have a rejection, and then a higher low, okay? And another rejection here with another higher low here. So I guess you can say a fractal model here. But overall, we are holding the support zone. And depending on how much we dump Monday is depending on if I enter this setup. Now, if it, absolutely market just tanks and this tanks, and obviously if it invalidates the zone, I'm not watching it. But as long as this holds the support, then it can look like it can break out of this wedge, then this would be an amazing setup. Now, there is earnings in 4 days, so you do have to figure out if you want to enter before or after. But I'll say this is earnings is very volatile for this stock. Very volatile because it is still a newer IPO. Now, earnings is, if this is going to get a break, it's going to get a break on earnings, okay? Earnings is what's going to absolutely pump this out of this wedge. That's because usually it happens on an event or on a catalyst, right? And that earnings is going to be that catalyst. And it very well could dump us back down, to the bottom of this wedge. It is a risk play. It's definitely a high risk setup. Not something you add to your core position, but it's definitely a good lotto position. Like this is by far the best lotto position I've ever seen, or at least right now in the market. Now, you could say it's a medium, about like mid-tier setup. So maybe not core, but not a little bit more than lotto, but it is pretty good. The market's pretty risky right now, so with all these tariff crap going on, so I'd probably consider this lotto. But that is basically the setup that I was watching for this. There's nothing much to cover because the market has not changed much from last week. I mean, Bitcoin has been in the same spot. Overall market is still expecting the same thing, still just choppy. If you want me to go over any setups, then drop it in the chat now or forever hold your peace. T-Mus, let me see. T-Mobile. I do not have a chart for it. Let me see. We can easily do this by just verifying some things that I can see. Little extended, but it's going to have to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a very quick chart, but I think it's a very obvious pullback. Yeah, massive bearish R-side divergence. Not massive, but it's definitely very clear R-side divergence, bearish. We do have an ABC down, but let's pull out the fib and see where we are on this correction because it does not look like we are very deep. Very structured like we're bouncing, but not very deep, that's for sure. RSI is really low though. Yeah, no, I think we go much lower. I mean, we're only down 20% from all-time high. I know it looks very clear that we have an ABC just because of this wave B, right? Because it is going kind of near that fib, but not deep enough for me. I would need to see at the least minimum 50%, but ideally 62% fib. I'll just go ahead and mark this just very quickly. We're looking for a support area around that area. I'm not going to go all out with this chart, but that's basically in a general area where we're going to be looking for a bounce. Now, we can also go ahead and mark this with the fib. That is marked like we're looking for wave B, but you can mark it from right here, and that would be around 50% fib as a rejection. So overall, I'm not really watching this. Let me hop on the daily time frame. Maybe I'm missing something. Okay, yeah, I'm missing something. Short-term bullish R-side divergence, which is the only reason why we went up right now, but we went up on bad earnings. And the R-side divergence has already played out. So, person not watching this, it doesn't look bad. Like, I mean, it's not discounted at all. Not really. So, it's, it's not at a good level, but the structure does seem kind of bullish. But however, it's just not deep enough. Is there any more tickers? If there is not, then I'll end this one here, and then I will post the video on YouTube. But all right,